أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء وخاتم المرسلين سيدنا ونبينا القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المحسونين وذات الأمر باقي الأعداء إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد فقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم إنما أنت منذر ولكل قوم هاد. Brothers and sisters in the Imam, I would like to begin by extending the best wishes on these very important days that we are celebrating in the month of Sha'ban, especially the forthcoming anniversary of the birth anniversary of the Imam of our time, Al-Mahdi ibn Hassan sallallahu alayhi. I don't want to take that much time. I know it's a full program and you have been sitting here for a long time. Just about half an hour. Talking about our identity. When people ask us as far as our religious identity is concerned, the first answer would be that we are Muslims. But then the whole world knows that even among Muslims there are different groups. And this is not only Muslims. You go to any religious group in the world, you will see there is division within. And so then we clarify that we are not only Muslims, we are Shia Muslims. But even among the Shias, there are subgroups among them. And so we further clarify our identity by saying that we are Shia Muslim who are Isna Ashari. And the term Isna Ashari that we use for ourselves, which in English they translate as 12ers, basically reflects our aqidah and the fundamental belief that we have that after the Prophet of Islam, there are 12 Imams as his successors. And we believe that the last one, the 12th, is the Imam who is the Imam of the time and he is still alive. And there is a lot of discussion about it, and I don't want to go into the details at the moment. I'll just say that one of the main questions which come up is about the long life of the 12th Imam. When we talk with Muslims, there shouldn't be a problem at all. Because if they look at the Quran, they will see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, gave a very long life to Prophet Nuh. When we look at the unanimous aqidah of the Muslims about Prophet Isa ibn Maryam, we believe he's still alive, more than 2,000 years. So it shouldn't be a problem as far as the possibility of the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to preserve somebody so that he will be the one who will establish the kingdom of God on this earth before this world comes to its end. Why 12? Why end with that? Whatever number would be there, the question why will still be unanswered. Because there is not in my hand or your hand, it is the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But for tonight, what I would like to do is just talk about the 3 or 4 dimensions of the status of an Imam from the Shi'i point of view, especially focusing on the impact of the 12th Imam during the time of the Hijrah. And this is actually not from my own words here. We actually rely on the hadith that we have quoted by Sheikh Saduq in one of his famous books of the 12th Imam. And it's a book of hadith where he, through his sanad, goes all the way to the 6th Imam, who quotes his father and who quotes his father. And so this is a hadith from our 4th Imam, Imam Ali ibn Hussein ibn al-Abidin alayhi salatu wasalam. And so this is not after the Hijrah. This is long before that. The 4th Imam talks about the status of the A'immah who have been appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Four things he mentions. The first dimension of those who are the hujjat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the position of Imam, in the sense that they are the leaders. And the word that the fourth Imam uses, نحن أئمة المسلمين وحجة الله على العالمين وسادة المؤمنين وقائد الغر المحجلين وموالي المؤمنين. That we are the leaders of the Muslims. We are Allah's proofs against the people, chiefs of the believers and guides of the best of people and masters of the believers. So this is basically the concept that everyone knows about it. The second dimension, he says that the Imam Ahlul-Bayt are actually the guides for the people. وَنَحْنُ أَمَانُ لِأَهْلِ الْأَرْضِ كَمَا أَنَّ النُّجُومُ أَمَانُ لِأَهْلِ السَّمَاءِ. Then Imam compares the position of the Imam where he says, we are the Aman, we are the source of security and safety for the people of the world, just as the stars are the source of safety for the people of the animals. It's a very interesting comparison to the Imam makes. When people travel in the sea, in order to find the direction, which direction they are going, they actually use the stars. Especially the North Star becomes their focus to know their direction, whether they are going in the right direction or not. And what the Imam is saying, that when it comes to the people of the earth, نحن the Imam Ahlul-Bayt are the stars. Whenever we are lost and we don't know where to go, or when there is confusion in the ideas that we hear from here and there, different schools of philosophy come forward. At that time, we have to look at the Imam Ahlul-Bayt and their guidance, because they are the Nujum and they are the stars in the wilderness of the misguidance that we see. The third is that, which is again a very important dimension of Imamah, and that is the concept that they are actually the wasita. They are the means for the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is something more complex, but I'm just going to the fourth point that I would like to go. So I'll just make a very simple translation here of the third dimension. نحن الذين بنا يمسك الله السماء أن تقع على الأرض إلا بإذنه. Number one, he says, we are those through whom Allah has held back the sky from falling on the earth, except by His permission. Of course, if He wants to do that, He can do it, but it is the existence and wujud of the hujjah at the time which keeps the system of the universe in place. And then further on he says, and through us He holds the earth from shaking violently with its inhabitants. وَبِمَا يَمْسَكَ الْعَرْض أَنْ تَمِيدَ بِأَهْلِهَا. He says, because of the hujjah who is there on the earth in its rotation and movement is gentle and balanced. Otherwise it will go in such a way that we will not be able to survive. And then another dimension that they are the means of Allah's grace is that وَبِنَا يَنْزَلُ الْغَيْثِ وَتَنْشُرُ الرَّحْمَةِ وَتُخْرِجُ بَرَكَاتِ الْعَرْضِ. And through us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down the earth, the rain, and spreads out the mercy and exposes the treasures of the earth. They are actually the wasif of the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever good that we see is actually because of the presence and existence of the hujjah on the earth. To the extent, and this is a very common belief in the Shia Isna Ashariya Madhab, that لَوْلَا مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ مِنَّا لَسَاقَتْ بِأَهْلِهَا. That if there was no one from us, the Ahlul Bayt, on the earth, the entire system of the earth would collapse. And the earth will sing with its inhabitants. So we have to realize that when we talk about, the Imam, they are not just there good people who have knowledge and they give fatwa. No, that is, a position of the ulama and maraj. The Imam, they have special status. They become the link between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the universe. The barakat that comes through them. And they are the one who actually are upholding the safety of the universe, in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And finally, the fourth point which connects me to the 12th Imam. Then he says, وَلَمْ تَخْلُ الْعَرْض مُنْذَ خَلَقَ اللَّهُ عَادًا مِنْ حُجَّةِ اللَّهِ فِيهِ. That since the day that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam, the earth has never been without a hujjah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That hujjah, that representative of Allah could be a Nabi or a Rasul or a Wali of the Nabi. Their position would change, but there will always be somebody. Nobody, no time came where the earth was absent from the hujjah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then he says, ظاهر المشهور أو غائب المستور. He says the hujjah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would be on the earth. Either he could be visible and known to the people, or he could be hidden and concealed. And this is where we come to the position of the 12th Imam. He is the hujjah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for us. He is the Imam of our time, but he is not Zahir al-Mashhur at the moment for us. Rather, he is Ghaib, Mastur. He is hidden and concealed from our views. We cannot see. And this is where we see that, one of the companions of the 4th Imam, when the 6th Imam actually, when the 6th Imam narrated this hadith from his grandfather, the 4th Imam, the companion of the 6th Imam, when he heard these words, ظاهر المشهور أو غائب المستور, he asked him a question. And he says, فَكَيْفَ يَنْتَفِعُ النَّاسِ بِالْحُجَّةِ الْغَائِبِ الْمَصْطُورِ. How will the people benefit from the hujjah who is hidden and concealed from them? What is the purpose of a hujjah of that kind who is in occultation, who cannot be seen? And this is where the 6th Imam gives the response, which is again coming from other Imams also. كَمَا يَنْتَفِعُونَ بِالشَّمْسِ إِذَا سَطَرَهَا السَّحَابِ. He says the people will benefit from the Imam, although he is hidden, just as the people benefit from the sun when it is hidden by the clouds. And this is what I would like to, briefly, especially for the young people here, that when our 4th Imam and his grandson, our 6th Imam, talks about this concept of an Imam who is hidden from our views. We cannot see him. How are we going to benefit from him? This is one of the questions we hear many, many times. And our Imam gives an example that, he is hidden from us, but it's just like we still get the benefit of the sun, although it would be a cloudy day. Especially in our area, many times it will still be daytime, but we don't see the sun. But we know it's daytime. Why? Because the light is still coming through. If the light was not coming through, it would be totally dark. It wouldn't be there. And this is where, we have to realize that, the Imam themselves have explained that phenomenon by comparing the hidden Imam with the sun behind the clouds. Look at the similarity between the sun and the Imam. The sun, number one, is the source of life for the earth. If the sun was not there, there would be no life on this earth. The radiant energy of the sun, provides the warmth to the earth. It is the sun and its energy which actually drives the weather and the climate. And it is the sun which keeps, us from not dying when it would become very freezing and very cold. If there was no sun, there would be no vegetation. Nothing will grow. And that's why you will see that, even for plantation, they need sun. in order to, come up, blossom, and grow. And finally, we see that the sun continues to shine even from behind the clouds. You take that reality of the sun and then compare that with the Imam. Especially in the line of the hadith that we have from the fourth Imam, the earth, we are told that it will collapse. It will not survive without the Imam. The Hujjah is actually the source of survival of the earth. Allah's Hujjah is the means of the existence of the earth and its movement and its light and its rain and its life. We heard the words of the fourth Imam that even when the rain comes and when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spreads the mercy, or when He takes out the treasures from the earth, this is all because of the presence of the Hujjah. And then, we see that the Imam continues to guide even in the time of Ghaibat. Let me further explain this. When we look at the sun, during the evening time, just, maybe after half an hour or 1 hour, the sun goes down. And we use the term sunset, which means the sun has set. Just think about it. Is this a real statement? Scientifically, is it true that the sun goes down? No? When we say the sun is setting, that the sun is going down the horizon, is it the sun which goes down? No. Scientifically, this is not a true statement. Although the whole world uses that expression. We even have timing sunrise and sunset. The sun doesn't rise, sun doesn't set. It is always there. So what is happening? It is not the sun which is going down and, hiding from us. It is we, our direction on the earth at that time, that we are moving away from the sun. And then therefore you'll see that, one side will be dark, which is our night, but other side of the earth would still have the light. It is daytime there. And so when we look at this phenomenon of the sun going down, disappearing or hiding from us, it is not the sun which is gone. This is the relative term we use. It's a nisbi. Nisba ilayna, on this part of the earth, that we said that the sun is going down. It is not a real statement. It is not scientifically true to say the sun is going down. Similarly, when they talk about the Imam, that he is ghaib, I would like you to think about it. Is the Imam ghaib, or have we moved away from the Imam? Muhammad al-Tusi, in one of his books of Al-Kalam, says that his ghaibat is because of us. It's not because of him. Just as the sun doesn't set, the Imam doesn't disappear. He is there on the earth. He is there providing the guidance to us. It is we who move away from him because of the deficiency that we have not really reached to a level where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow us to be able to see the Imam of our time. So, just as the sun, which is always there, many times it comes and goes. We don't really appreciate it until when winter comes and we suffer with the cold, then we remember the sun. But it comes every day. Because it's always there, we do not really appreciate that this is the source of our energy. This is the source of our life. This is the source of the food which grows on the earth. If there was no sun, nothing will be there. We will not survive if the warmth of the sun was not there. But because the sun is there every day for us, we take it for granted. Its constant presence makes it oblivious for us. Similarly, when we talk about the presence of the Hujjah and the Imam of the time and his barakah, that the whole system is there because of his presence. Because he is there all the time, we don't really appreciate that in many ways. You know, different ways, the system that they have made, when it comes to, for example, legal guidance in the form of ijtihad, where our fuqaha basically go through this process. You know, there are many, many examples that we see. For example, Al-Mahdi once, you know, there are all different stories. Of course, we don't believe in all the stories of the people who have seen the Imam, but there are some very credible source and events that we hear about. One is Al-Mahdi once, he had an issue, a mas'ala and felt, where he couldn't find the answer. And he eventually went and, you know, prayed in one of those massages in Iraq to be able to see the Imam and get the guidance on this issue. But the issue is that the Imam of our time will not directly guide the fuqaha if the dalil is existing there, the proof is there in the books. They have to go and do the ijtihad, they have to do the hard work of finding it. Even in that case, it's very interesting that Al-Mahdi, when he was able to meet the Imam and put this question, Imam said the solution is in the book of At-Tahzib, the book which is one of the earliest collection of hadith, in this section, in this volume, and in this page of the version that he has in library. He goes home and looks at it, and he realized that his answer was there in the hadith. And so this is where we see that the Imam basically would guide even the fuqaha, you know, in direct or indirect ways, you know, whenever the need is there. And this is what we have to realize, that many times we do not appreciate his presence. I'll just give you one example of the system of hummus that we have. You know, many times we do not even realize and do not even connect it with the Imam of the time. The barakat around the world, in the Shia world. I'll give you the new beautiful centers we have, you know, which is running now for 4 years in Toronto, the Jamford Center. You know, if you look at, since I was involved in it, as far as the home portion is concerned, I know out of the millions that we spent, about 4 million, if not more than that, comes from the hummus of Sahm al-Imam. And that is actually the gift and the barakah which comes from the Imam of our time. How many of us, you know, appreciate that? No. Yes, we thank the person who gave the hummus, but we do not realize once he did the calculation, it's no more his mark. It becomes Sahm al-Imam. It becomes the mark of the Imam of the time. And then it's spent in this way. And so this is just one visible example when it comes to the barakah of Hujjat, you know, of our time, just something which is visible there. And we have to really connect in that way, that he's there guiding us, just as the sun is there behind the cloud. Do not ever think that he is away from us, just as the sun does not really set. It is the earth which moves away from it in that direction. You know, he is always there looking at us. It is for us to turn, open the eyes of our heart, and if we really do that with sincerity, we will be able to feel the presence of the Hujjat of our time. Hujjat ibn Hasan, salawatullah alayhi wa ala aba'i al-kiram. Just one more, just a very simple statement for the young people. Whenever we are confronted with our, you know, fellow Muslim brothers, what are the questions that say that, you know, we have the need from the Quran about the system of Imam that you're talking about. Just remember one surah which everyone recites, Surah Al-Qadr. You know, when we look at occasions in our calendar, we have Mawlid al-Nabi, the day of Ashura, we have the day of, Bi'that or Isra of Rasulullah. we have the day of Qadir. These are all events which happened once in the past, and we commemorate that or celebrate. But there is one event in our calendar which we do not celebrate. Rather, we do it as that same day, and that is known as Laylatul Qadr. In Laylatul Qadr, what we do is sit down and say, okay, this happened 1400 years ago with Rasulullah. Or do we say that tonight is Laylatul Qadr for us in this year? So Laylatul Qadr is not a remembrance or a commemoration or celebration of an event which took place centuries back, like Mawlid al-Nabi or the day of Ashura or the day of Qadir, for example. You know, Laylatul Qadr happens every year, but this year, inshallah, we will have that. And we will say tonight is the night of Laylatul Qadr. What does the surah say? تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ. To respect the Shaykh is here, many of you are, the people of that language. تَنَزَّلُ there, here, تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ, this is perpetual word. Istimrari, it is continuous. It doesn't mean that when the Laylatul Qadr happened during the day of Rasulullah, the Malaika came down only at that time. It means whenever the Laylatul Qadr happens, every year, the Malaika come down. Every Muslim will agree with that. Then ask them, when the Malaika come down on the earth in that night, where do they go? Do they go to the White House? Or the Red Square in Moscow? Or the palace in Paris? Or Downing Street in London? Where did the Malaika go? Tell them go and find where the Malaika go, and I'll tell you that is the residence of my Imam of the time. They have to go and find out. So there is somebody on the earth, even now, that in that night known as Laylatul Qadr, the Malaika come down. And who is that? And that is where we have to believe there is somebody. And that is the Hujjah of our time, Imam Al-Mahdi, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala al-Sharif. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept the few words that we have said here, and may He increase our tawfiqat to be among those who are the true followers of the Prophet, the Quran, and the Ahlul Bayt, and may He always keep us among those who really are true to our name as the Muslim, who are Shia and who are Isna. And may He always keep the heart of the Imam of the time pleased with us, and may He hasten the appearance of the Hujjah of our time. Salam.